In this video, we are going to solve one very important and known algorithm, number of island. So the question is that you have given one two-dimensional array. In that you will have the two values 1 and 0. 1 represent the island and 0 represent the water. So you can just assume this is complete whiteboard is the ocean and these one are the island. And you have to find out how many island are there. But one condition is there. So if one island is connected either vertically or horizontally with other island, suppose this is the one island, if this is connected to vertically or horizontally, you will consider one island, that is not the two island, but not the diagonally. For the example, this one is connected to horizontally, this one, we will consider this is one island, not the two. But here, if this is the one here and this is one here, you cannot consider these two as a one island. It might be the two island. So first see how many island are there. So if this is the one, this is also one, right? So if we consider one island, but this one is also connected. So yeah, so you start from here, one island. And here see this one is connected with this as a vertically. We cannot consider because this is the diagonally. So this is the second island. And here see if this one and this one is a diagonally, we will not consider. So this is individual is the one island and this is individual is the one island. So this is the 4. So we have the total 4 island here. Okay. Just for the better understanding, let me change something here and then we will see how many islands here. So suppose if I say this is also the 1. The moment you say this is 1, then this complete is the one island now, right? So this is the one island, this is the two island, and this is the 3 island, right? And now suppose if I have the same question, let it be the 0, make this 0 to 1. And now see how many islands are there. So if you see now, this one we start from here, here, and we also here, right? Because this one is connected with this one. So this time it will come here. Wait, you make the other color. So now according to this diagram, it will this one, it will go this one. This is the green color. This is the one island. This is the 2 island. So in this case, they are the 2 island. Okay. This is the questions, right? Now, how to solve that? There could be multiple brute force algorithm or many other algorithms. But what I thought this is one of the good or best algorithm which have the very good time complexity and the space complexity that I am going to explain. And this is very simple logic. What you have to do? You start from here, right? So you know this is the row and we denote the n. This is the column, we denote the m. So in this case we have the n is equal to 4 and m is equal to 5, right? And if you see this is the index and this is index is like this. So each element represent with the index. So this is the 0, 0, right? Because 1, 1. 0, 0, this is the 0, 1. We always write the first as the row and second is the column. So if you see this part is the 1 and 2, take 1, 3 and the 2, and this is the 3 and 4, right? So you start from 0, 0. So we start from this index, right? The moment you start, you also start one counter. So make the counter starting time is 0, right? We have to find out how many islands are there. It started from 0, 0. The moment you will come here, you see whether this is visited or not. So this time it is not visited. So what I will do, I will make this visited. I will make this visited. So first step what I have to do, you have to mark visited. Step first. Step second, find all neighbor element. So what are the neighbor elements for that? And mark the visited also. This is the question, because all the neighbors, neighbor means only horizontally and vertically. So find out all the horizontally and vertically neighbors for this element and make it visited also. So in this case, what I will do, I am here right now 0 and 0. So this is already marked. Then the neighbor of this 0 and 0, this one and this one, I will mark both as a visited. So how to find out? First you have to find out the neighbor. Once you find out the neighbor, then you have to mark visited. So next time you cannot count. And whenever you see the first element that is not visited, in this case first time, you have to increase the counter, plus, increment the counter. This is the only simple 3 steps are there. Okay. So now how to find out the neighbor? This is the tricky part here. So if you see here, let me take example for easy one. If you are here in this position, what is the position? 2 and 2, or for the simplicity take this example, this element. What is the element? 1 and 2, right? This is the 1 and 2 index. What are the different neighbors for this 1, 2? This is 1, this is 1, this is 1, this is 1. How you will find out all the 4s? So if you see here, there are the 4 neighbor, right? What are the 4 neighbor? If this is 1, so 1 is the 0, 2, right? This is the 0, 2. This is the 1 and 1. This is the 1 and the 3. And this is the 2 and 2. So 1 is the 0, 2, right? So 1 is the 0, 2. What is the second neighbor? 2, 2. So third neighbor is the 1 and 1. And fourth is the 1 and 3. If you notice, we use the 2 index, I and j. If you see this number, I did not touch the second part. I just only changed the I part. Here I did I minus 1. Second one, I didn't change the j part. Here for the I part, I did the I plus 1. And the last 2, I didn't touch the I part. I is the same. Here for the j, I one time decrease, one time increase, I did. So how to find out all the 4 elements? Simple. If you have the I and j, then you have to do I minus 1 j, I plus 1 j. Now no need to change the I, j minus 1 and the j plus 1. These 4 you have to do that to find out the neighbors, right? But one issue is there. Suppose this is your neighbor, this is your first element, there is nothing here. So if you take this is the 0 and 0. According to this other algorithm, what would be the value? Minus 1 and 0. But minus 1 index does not exist, right? So this is the corner case. So if any element at the edge, we have to take care, right? We will not do this operation if you do only this operation if I minus 1 either greater than equal 0, right? Otherwise you will not do this operation, whenever do the minus things, right? And again for the positive case also, if suppose you are here, this is the 0, 4. Or if this here come here, 3.0. If this is the 3.0, and if you want to increase,
I found this on the web.
It becomes the 4.0, right? But 4 does not exist, right? So you have to take also this condition. We can only do this operation if I less than equal to n, because n is the 4, or all the number below the n we can take it. So when you do this operation, you have to take these conditions. The same thing here for the j also. If j minus 1 less than equal to greater than 0, and if j plus 1 should not more than m. So this is the way we can find out the neighbor. So once you find out the neighbor, then our problem is solved, and then we can mark the visited. But thing is that how you will do that? Now let us start implementation. So we will use the DFS algorithm, depth first search. The moment you will come here, I will visit here. There is anyone not visited, mark this. Again come here, mark this. I will not come here because this 0. Go back, go back, go back. Again this is the 1, I will mark it. Again come here, mark it. There is no one, no one. Come up, there is no one. And again come here, this is 1, I will mark it. So in this, see, this is my DFS arrow. It will come here, it will come here, then it will come here. And this is one also. So we implement the DFS through the recursive program. So I think ever discussion enough. Now let me implement how you will do that, right? So first I will do on the whiteboard, then I will do on the direct on the laptop. It's very easy. If you have any problem, just revisit the video again. We will find out what we are doing here. So obviously, as I said that this is the m and this is the n size, right? And I will do the one counter, one I will use for the row and j for the column. So obviously, do for loop. So int I is equal to, it will run from I to n, right? It will run from I to n. And n, you know, if you want to, if suppose this is the A, if this is double dimension, if this is the A, so you first take the length for easy purpose. So n is equal to A dot length, and how you will take the number of columns? So if this is the n, so this is the, if this is the A0, right? This is the A1, right? So take the A0 is equal to length. So first one we give this n number and second we give this n number, right? Now start here. This is easy part. Just it is very simple how to traverse the 2-dimension array. It will go for m, j plus plus. Now the logic is start here. Check if this a, I or j is equal to 1, means this is not visited and currently we are here. So what if you do that, or at one counter also, int count is equal to 0. So first what I will do, I will increase the counter and then I will send this element to my another method. That method name is the marking or marker, anything. They be visited also, they be mark the visited also, and they be find out the neighbor also. Okay, so I will pass the I, j and a value here. That's it. Now go for the mark method. So I am not returning anything because this is a 2-dimension array. We work on the address, so it will work for the reference, right? So just make the method marker, pass the I, pass the j, and pass the, this is the characters double dimension array that we will see in the code, and pass the a also. Here what I have to do, first the element what it is coming, this element. So first I will check if this element is not visited. For the visiting I will use the v word. If it is not visited, make it visited. First job done. So make the visited. Now second job is that find out the neighbor for this one. So what is the neighbor for this one? if this is the I, so there are the 4 neighbors, right? What are the different 4 neighbors? A, I minus 1j, I have already explained. A, I plus 1j. Third, don't touch the I and do the same thing for j. I, don't touch I, do the same thing for the j plus 1, right? So we have to find out the neighbor, but condition is that this should not be visited already. So you have to put the condition. If this is not V or this is not the V, then you have to make it visited, right? So then you have to make it visited. What if you do the visited? Again, make it the recursive and send this element to the marker method. So what if you do? I will again refer to this method. This time what is the A become? A become I minus 1 and j. Yeah. So again they will go the same method, make it visited, and again they find out the recursion things. But as I said that this is not only the condition here, right? What are other 2 conditions we have to put? I minus j should always greater than equal 0 and I should always less than the n. And you have to do the same thing for all the things. And if you want to make little bit enhance the code, so what you have to do here, you can say I don't know the n, right? So you have to find out, and again you have to find what is the n, what is the n. So better pass n m from here only. So we will pass the n. So you no need to do everything for that, right? And you have to call the 4 times. This is the simple thing. But again, if you see here, we have to call this the 4 times and little bit code is more. Is any way we can simplify and we can make it in single statement. I will make one simple for loop and do all those things. Yes, you can do that. For that, what you have to do? Even your code is already completed, just I am going to improve the code. Thing is that what we are going to do that here. So you know that if you have the I and j, we are doing the 4 things, right? 1, 2, 3, 4. We are doing I minus 1, comma j, I plus 1, comma j, and then I j minus 1 and I j plus 1. Means whatever the number here, in that number first digit I am minus 1 and second digit I am not touching. Whatever here I part I am not touching, and so if you see I didn't touch here j part and I just did minus 1, here plus 1, here plus 1 for I, and in this case we are doing the minus 1. So what you do the simplicity, we take the 4 this array. So I will make one array that name suppose coordination. You make one array, double dimension array, put all this data. So minus 1 0, right, and then the plus 1 0 and 0 minus 1, and take the 4 dimension data. Here it is, and instead of this code, what you will do, take one by one chords, right? So this one chord will represent this part, right? So this, now what the chord is there, this chord is represent this part, right? This part, first one, right? And in this chord we have the 2 things, right? We have chord 0 and chord 1. 0 represent minus 1 and this 1 represent the 0, right? So if you see here, what I am doing here, I minus 1, right? So instead of that, I will find out what is the next I, right? So you make one anything, PQ, P is equal to I plus this chord 0. it will change the I value, and q j plus 1 value. So you got the p and q, then no need to do all those things, right? Then simply I will say send the if a, p and q is not visited, then send the same method marker with the p, q, a, m and n. So it will make the easy code, right? So let us go to the code and see how it works. And we have given this data. So what if we do? First, let me take the number of rows. So length, it will show the number of rows, and then as we discussed, let me the number of columns, right? So you take any arrays first, second, and then it will return the number of columns, and then just iterate the I for the row and j for the columns, right? J will go the, and we will check if the first element, right, I and j, if this is the 1, then take one counter also here, count is equal to 0. So make the count plus plus, and in this method, this is the method, right, here return the count. So once if this is not visited, I will the count plus plus, and I will call the marker method. In the marker method, I pass the I, j and our give day, right? That's it. So now write another method, private, they will not return anything, method name marker, I, j and the double dimension given input, right? So first and foremost, if this I and j is not visited, make it visited. So I and j and make it visited, right? So once this happen, then again we have to find out the how many rows and columns, right? So I can just copy paste this part and we can get the nm, right? So and now we have to make the conditions, right? So we have to make the all the neighbors for this the I and j. So now there are the 4 elements that we have to take care, right? So for the I minus 1, right? So first one is the I minus 1 and j, we have to check. Second element we have to check I plus 1 and then j, and third element would be the I, no change in the I, and j minus 1, and fourth element would be the I, no change, and j plus 1, right? So if you have to check whether if this is 1, which is not touched yet, then we have to send for the marker, right? So we have to again call this method, for that I have to pass I, j and I. So this time I become the I minus 1, j no change, and a not change, right? But we are missing some corner cases, right? We have to check 2 items here. As you are touching the I part, so I should not, I minus 1 should not less than 0, it always should greater than 0, and I minus 1 always less than n, right? And the same thing for the this purpose for a, this one, right? So this one, so a plus 1, same thing, and here we have to pass the a plus 1, here we have to check the a plus 1, and here we have to check the a plus 1, find the neighbors, right? It will just remove that, and will be the same thing for the j, right? So here it become the no change in the I, j minus 1, and j plus 1, no change in I. Right. Same thing what you have to do, no change for the I. You are just finding out the neighbors, right? And here this time j, this time j, and this time m, because we use the j for the column, and j plus 1 and j plus 1 less than the m. Right, that's it. Let us run the code for this time. It should work. It work, right? It's working fine. But as you said that we can improve further. What we can improve here, no need to pass calculating here. We can simply pass from here n and m, and here you can pass n and m. So obviously you have to pass n and m for all the method, because you have changed the signature of the method, right? And it should also work. We have not done anything smart change here, but if you see little bit we are making these conditions. Oh, what is that here? This is the comma I put, sorry. But if you see this, the complicate conditions is always running for the for one, right? 4 times. So what I will do, I will make one simple one liner with all the conditions to avoid all these multiple things. So whenever we have to mark, before marking itself, I will not check this time. Before marking itself, we will check if this number is out of box, then we will not do anything. So if j is greater than m and I is greater than m or less than the 0, we return there and there itself. We will not consider those things because it is not in our, this is not our, not coming in our 2D dimension array, right? And then forget everything. No need to put all those things here, because these are the repeating conditions, right? So you can just little bit. We have no more cleaner code, right? So even if you run, that should work. Some issues here. Oh, I'm using the copy paste issue. So take the A, and it should work as it is. Not is working. Now I said that we can make the 4 coordination purpose and do that, right? So for that, what we do, you make one simple 4 coordinations in starting of the method, as we discussed in the, they are the 4 coordinations, right? For this, all the 4 things, and here just run that for loop, and make the p is equal to I plus this chord 0. 0 is take for the I purpose, right? And for this j purpose, j plus chord 1. That's it, right? Once you got it, then no need to call the 4 times, 1 time is sufficient. And instead of this, all those calculations, just pass the p and q and remove this complete, and this should also work. What is that? Cannot find out the some spelling mistake. We have to make the chords, because we're using the chords here, right? Using the chords here. This perfective one. Let me submit this, and you can see we got this one, right? Further might be improvement will be there, but sometimes take the 3 seconds also. So this was all about. Thank you very much. Please don't forget to share this video or like the video, and if you have any questions, use the comment box.